Welcome to the Talk Podcast with ideas strategist Linda Reed Enevar. Talk is where we chat about ideas and inspiration you can use to market your business. Get ready for practical tips you can implement today with your host, Linda Reed Enevar.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Talk Podcast. I'm excited to be sharing with you some tips and strategies for something that I think affects most of us as business owners. When we get stuck in a rut or we've had a block, how do we get our creativity back and how do we break through that rut or that block so that we can keep moving within our business? Now, I get it, as business owners, there are many hats that we need to wear in our business journey, and that can often lead to us having to problem solve, to troubleshoot, to do the accounts, to be on social media, to be out there doing 100 things, lead our team, be positive, be happy all the time. And quite often that can lead us to a place where we find we're in a rut. We're either burnt out, we're stressed, there's external factors, there's personal life factors that are just not allowing us to be motivated, to be creative, and to be able to move ourselves forward. And I know that is really frustrating. And as business owners, we know we need to keep moving forward. So we actually beat ourselves up. We let the critic jump into our head. We allow our negative Nelly voice to jump in and start to tell us that we're not great. So let's have a look at what we need to do to get that creativity back when we're stuck in a rut or we've got a creative block. First of all, we need to understand what the creative rut is and how it affects us as small business owners. So a rut is when we're blocked, we're overwhelmed, we've not got anything to do, or we feel like we're doing the same thing over and over again. And it gets monotonous and we actually delay starting projects or we don't finish a project because we just feel like we're stuck in that same momentum. And for me, lots of unfinished projects will actually put me into a rut quicker than starting new projects. You know, I love starting new projects. Things get overwhelming once they've all started, and then all of a sudden we've got all this unfinished work. So then I have to get myself out of those ruts, is finish those projects and actually start to tick things off along the way. Some of the things as a small business owner, when we put a rut together, and I find when I'm working with business owners, especially coaching them through their marketing or their course creation, is we've set such a large goal and we haven't broken it down into small, achievable chunks and steps along the way so that we can actually achieve something, celebrate the mini win and move on. So that is one thing that we do to ourselves as business owners. We actually create that big rut because we haven't broken the goal down far enough to be able to help ourselves through that journey. The other thing that we need to do then is when we're going through that process is to start to see what the patterns are when we are having a creative rut. Once we know that we're in one, we can have a look at what the root cause could be. It could be overwhelm. It could be burnout. We might need to take a break from our business for a while. It could just be a lack of motivation. And it can be at times uncertainty about the business, the project, or the self-doubt that kicks in. Once we've done that, we need to identify what our block is. So one of the ways that I like to do this is I just like to journal down for a minute what's stopping me, okay? Just a couple of minutes, journal down what's stopping me, what do I think is stopping me moving forward? And quite often venting that out loud because that seems to help me as well. It helps me pinpoint the issue and it helps me identify whether there's any patterns or things that we can change to help me move forward. From that component, then I might ask feedback from my team or from my mentors about what's going on in our process and why do they think I'm not moving forward, because that really helps me as well. And when I'm working with clients, we can quite often work it out together because we'll be like, oh, maybe we're just tackling this a little too early, or maybe we need to tackle this first, or maybe we need to follow the processes. And this is a big one. I have processes for pretty much everything that we do here. And it's when I don't follow those processes that I find that we get overwhelmed. When I don't follow those processes, I find that we actually as a team get stuck in a rut. So if you can follow those processes, have a bit of a strategy that you can work through, then you can start to get that creativity back in your day because you start to go into mindset for a particular process or a particular task, and that really helps along the way. And then the other thing that I like to do is once we're in a creative area, so we've understood that we've got a rut, we've got a block, the next thing I like to do is change my circumstances. So I'm going to change either my desk and clean up my office space, put some music on, maybe burn a candle, do something like that if I can't get out of the office. But if I can get out of the office, I am going to get out of the office and try and cultivate some inspiration by working in a cafe or a different space. So I can get out of the space that's got me feeling like I'm trapped in the rut and then go and find a new space to create inspiration. And then I will use tools like mind mapping to start to map out my ideas, the marketing tree. I might set myself a timer and say, okay, you've got 30 minutes to write on this blog post or topic, and you just use the deadlines to be able to break the mold of where I am to get some creativity back in. Then there's the power of collaboration. So sometimes it's attending a workshop or a conference and learning with others so that I can collaborate and get my creative juices back by just doing other things or by teaching others. I still get a lot of inspiration out of teaching small business owners how to do their marketing. So that works really well for me. So I do something that cultivates my inspiration. So I might book a workshop, a ticket, or listen to a podcast, and I start to cultivate that inspiration. And then there's the power of collaboration and working with others. So the thing that I love, and I do this a couple of times a year, I will join a live cohort workshop where I'm challenged to participate with other people. Now, there are good memberships and communities out there like the Marketing Circle membership that allows you to get this on an ongoing basis. And you can join those networks and start to collaborate on ideas with each other, share tips, share feedback. All of those things help you get out of that creative rut and find an opportunity to find that creativity that sparks you. Because quite often in collaboration and working with others, whether it's through working days or doing something led by a coach or something through that creativity, you find different ideas. And I've seen that time and time again in my workshops where people come through with ideas. And the other thing is to just use the tools you have available to you. Use things like project software, like things like the marketing planner to set those goals and break it down. And if you're the creative person in your business, free up your time by delegating non-creative tasks to the people who love them. There are people in my business who love the creative tasks that I don't, and I'm better to delegate it out to them than lose my creativity. I'm just going to wrap up this podcast episode with just a few little tips along the way. And these are things that I like to run myself through when I'm looking at breaking a creative rut. Can I change my environment? Can I change where I am, change of scenery, work somewhere different, or just rearrange my workspace to be a little bit more creative? Have I practiced my mindfulness and meditation? So have I cleared my mind to reduce my stress, which is quite often creating my block? So have I cleared my mind? Do some coloring, maybe do a project. I work with my daughter in Enova Group Create, so I might go and make a piece of jewelry for that website. And allowing my mindfulness and my meditation to come back in. The Smiling Mind app is an amazing app if you guys need it to get a short, sharp meditation under 5 minutes that you can listen to and hopefully get your brain back. The other thing is engaging in creative exercises. And one of the things I created was the 5-minute marketing decks to give you different ideas that you can use to create different little pieces of marketing activity that might add up. So jump out for a second. Use something like the 5-minute marketing deck to be able to create some ideas and brainstorm some ideas to help jumpstart your creativity. If we're stuck in a project, maybe brainstorm something else that you want to work on and then pop it in to your project manager for down the track. Have I set myself realistic goals? Now, this is a big one because quite often I go, big goal, going to get it all done this week. And that's not possible. So we need to make sure that we've broken the projects down that we're working on into manageable tasks along the way. Is there an opportunity for me to collaborate, maybe go and work out with others in my industry, or maybe just join a working day? If there is, I take one of those up. When was the last time I took a break? Have I been at this for hours? Have I been at this for weeks? Have I been at this for days and I've not taken a break? Because sometimes what I need to do is take a break away from the project, step away, walk around the block, go grab a cup of coffee, and all of a sudden my mind comes back into it. And the final thing that I have to do is I have to embrace my imperfection, because not everything's going to be perfect, but I'm better to get something out there than have nothing out there at all. And by doing that, I'm able to get feedback from the people who are out there and find out more of what they like. And quite often they like what I thought was imperfect, and set aside my self-doubt, because the inner critic inside me will stop me being creative more before anyone else ever will. If you can do this, stay consistent, limit your distractions, your phone pings, those notifications, use the tools that you've got in front of you, and time block if you can so that you can go into a mindset for each one of those tasks. You might just be able to get yourself out of that creative rut that you're in and find your creativity again. I'd love to hear from you in the comments what ways that you find to get yourself creative along the way. Understand that we all face ruts and blocks within business. We are not perfect humans and we never will be. So if you need to take the break, if you're in a rut, don't beat yourself up. And that's where I think tools and resources like Evergreen Marketing allow us to keep going through and keep showing ourselves time and time again without having to create content all the time. And that's our backup. And that's why I teach you that. So please allow yourself the break, be kind to yourself, and try a strategy or two and see how it goes. This is what works for me, how I get creative after I'm stuck in a rut.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Talk with Linda Reed Enever. Make sure you subscribe via your favourite podcast app so you don't miss the next great episode. You can find more ideas and inspiration at enevergroup.com.au.